Old Ivian warriors still remember this glorious battle and tell its story to those eager to listen. In a harsh winter many years ago, the orcish hordes of the west assaulted the great Oakendom and caught the wise elves unprepared. A brave Elvari queen went to seek help from the Alliance's closest neighbors. Many noble knights, soldiers, and even common villagers answered her call for help. She led them in a thunderous counterattack against the raging invaders. Men and nature fought together this day to protect the forest, and they did. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Spellweaver. My name is Boltor.
And I am the Foz.
And today we bring you a DLC deck straight from the developers of Spellweaver themselves. It's called Soldier Reverence, and it gets its reverence from the Reverence hero power from Nieva the Revered. This hero power is one of the strongest parts of the deck, is probably the cornerstone of the whole deck. For 2 mana, for the rest of the turn, your creature's cards cost 1 mana less to a minimum of 1 this turn. Whenever you play a creature card this turn, draw a card. So you can go from having 1 creature in hand to a bunch of creatures on the board and a bunch of cards in your hand. Now I'm going to turn it over to the Fuzz, who's going to go into detail about how the cards interact with each other.
Thank you, Boltor. So we'll just start from the cheapest and move our way up. We've got the Steelhost Spearman, which is one of the many soldier cards in the deck. He's only a 1/1, but he's fast, and his ranged ability when defending makes him very good at stopping annoying 1 health enemy minions because he'll just kill them before they can kill him. We have several options for turn 2. The Dwarf Spellbreaker acts as our anti-spell guy. You sometimes won't even need that ability, but it's just nice to have. He's another soldier, and this will become important in a little bit. The Sunblessed Priest offers us Lifebound, so every time she deals damage, she'll give you some life. At the minimum, you'll usually get at least 2 life out of her if she trades with a similarly sized creature, and this helps you in a big way when battling against other aggressive decks. Now, this isn't specifically a creature, but this spell summons 2 militia on the board, and the militias are, as you can see, 1/1s with 1 speed, but they are also soldiers, giving you further synergy. Now, you can sometimes just play this on turn 2, just to have more board presence, or you may save it for a combat trick to protect your board. For the 3-cost cards, we get the Elite Vanguard, which may not have any effect, but has one of the largest stat lines available at this mana cost, and is another soldier. And the Cavalry Field Captain, one of the strongest cards you have to play, with his ability to buff a creature temporarily by 1 attack, health, and speed. This card practically guarantees a good trade on your side of the board, basically equivalent to this comes into play, you kill one of your opponent's creatures, giving you a tremendous tempo swing. Really great card all around. Now, this is unfortunately not a soldier, but that's not a problem. This card is so strong that it's good even in a soldier deck. Now, for 4 mana, we've got the Master Tactician, who is the main synergy of the deck. He gives all other soldiers on the same line. He himself is a soldier too, so he will buff other tacticians. +1 attack and +1 health, and this is persistent as long as he stays. So when this guy hits the board, your entire field could suddenly grow double in size and completely overpower your opponent. This gets absolutely ridiculous when you have multiple tacticians on the board, when your little 1/1 militias become 3/3 monstrosities that completely trample your opponent. Now, from the nature side of things, we have the Ancient Treant, which may seem like a strange card because it's not a soldier, and it's not even an order card, but it works with the hero power because at only 2 mana, he becomes 1 mana when you activate the hero power, and then you play him and draw a card. And his ability to slow down a creature to 0 speed when he attacks makes him incredibly annoying to deal with when he can just permanently lock down 1 enemy creature of your choice and just keep attacking. As for the spells, we've got Touch of Light, which at 1 mana is just a simple Might emblem, +1/+1 on a creature, but at a critical time that can translate to your creature killing the enemy creature and staying alive. We've got the Pacify spell, which is a great way to just get rid of a really big threat by just sending it straight back to the deck. You might eventually see it later, but it leaving the board for 2 mana will go a long way towards making your board safe. The Guard's Guard spell we already covered. It summons more militia. When you summon them on your opponent's turn, as a trick, they will have 3 speed, allowing them to block mostly anything and further protecting your board. And if you happen to have a Master Tactician, well, they will be 2/2s. And they'll probably just end up completely wrecking your opponent's board. And Ray of Righteousness is basically your big removal spell. 3 attack or more is aimed to take care of particularly big creatures. You won't use it that often, but it's still good to have. It could also destroy spells, so if your opponent has a really powerful spell, you got an answer. And the last one is Landslide. 4 copies. This spell is basically what you use to clear away any defenses your opponent might have. It takes care of basically any 2 things. It puts them on top of their deck, which means they will draw them back, but often just removing those creatures at a critical time will allow you to just overpower the board entirely. And the last card, Soldier's Memorial. This is our skill shrine of choice. It allows you to put a soldier card from your graveyard, which is like most of your creatures, on the bottom of your deck, and if you do, you get a free might emblem on one of your creatures. And you can use this every single turn. Not only can you recycle your most powerful cards, you can basically just keep powering up critical creatures every single turn to make sure your opponent just can't kill them. If you have a Tactician and it's too big, it'll never die, and every single one of your soldiers getting a big buff, it's just gonna... your opponent's gonna have a really bad time once this goes online. So Boltor, why don't you tell us a little bit about the matchups the deck has?
This deck has a strong matchup against both control and aggro decks alike. Against control decks, you have the hero power, which allows you to refill the board should it get wiped or should all of your creatures die through some form of shenanigans, as well as powerful removal for their big creatures and the ability to make your opponent fight on your terms with combat tricks and the ability to pump up your creatures. Against aggro decks, it has the strong curve of being able to play a solid creature that can contest the board each and every single turn. This deck gives you the edge both through the hero power and through those combat tricks, which allow you to control the flow of the game and allows you to surprise your opponent out of almost nowhere. Now, we are going to be right back, and we are going to bring you gameplay of this deck.
Soldier Reverence, here we go. So our opponent for the day will be Boltor. How you doing, Boltor?
I'm doing pretty well. All right, and I am going to start things off with my Lizard Barbarian.
Ah, that little guy. He doesn't seem too dangerous, but when he's attacking your face, you feel the pain. Okay. We didn't get an Order Shrine, so we're going to have to add a mana instead. Otherwise, we would have just played our Steelhost Spearman.
That works just fine for me. It allows me to play my Goblin Warrior and attack you with my Barbarian.
Okay, we're getting beaten down a little bit here, but we'll recover the board soon enough. That works. Now we can go up order. And we're going to play 1 Steelhost, 2 Steelhost. And we'll pass it over to Boltor.
I see your Steelhost Spearman, and I raise you a Gibbo and Roni.
Fair enough.
And I attack with my Lizard Barbarian.
But our Steelhost Spearman gains ranged while defending, so the 2 of them working together can actually kill this guy. And they both survive, which gives us some breathing room on the board. We're going to start some serious goblin pest control in a minute here. We're going to have to send back probably this card. Let's go for the Nature Shrine. Eventually we have to get to 2 Nature Shrines to activate our hero power, Reverence. We're going to go ahead and drop probably just the Elite Vanguard. Just play a big dude. I think we're just going to go ahead and trade off some of these guys. We're behind on life, and his guys do 2 damage, while my guys only do 1. And now we have board control. Excellent.
Well, I can retake my board control by first attacking with my Goblin Warrior.
Now his guy is weaker, so he must have some kind of follow-up.
And I follow up with a Disciple of Zash to deal 1 damage to your Vanguard.
Ah, very well. This does mean we have to be careful with 1 health creatures because this Disciple can just deal 1 damage every turn. But we have some plans for that. We get our Soldier's Memorial Shrine, which means our hero power is now active. So we're gonna go ahead and use the Spark so we can play another 2-mana card. 2 Sunblessed Priests. And they have Lifebound, which means I'll be able to get some life back when they start hitting his face or his minions. What do you do now?
Now I draw a card. And I activate my hero power Double Chop to destroy both of your priests. And then I follow it up with a Lizard Barbarian and pass my turn.
Painful, but we still got the 4 life, so it's not too bad. Well, we're just gonna spend our mana here. I hate to send this back. The Tactician is really, really powerful, but we do have to keep the shrines going. Keep our mana going forward. This board should hold, though.
I'll play my Firebrand Goblin and attack you directly.
Interesting. Now, it looks like I could block and get a kill here, but if we remember, his Disciple can just deal 1 damage whenever it wants to. So we don't want to do that necessarily. We will block this one because he gives all of his goblins Swift, and that could be really dangerous. We'll just go ahead and take the 2 damage from the Lizard. It's not a big deal. And now we're going to go ahead and use the Champion's Honor to put a counter on our Vanguard so it's out of range of any tricks he might have. We'll just go ahead and eliminate this guy. Go ahead and Divine Offer. We're going to want a Nature Shrine here so we can get our Reverence going. Oh, we got it, so...
At the end of your turn, I'm going to deal 1 damage to you with my Disciple of Zash.
Fair enough. Might as well do something with it.
And now I summon the mighty Ramgat Goblin Recruiter.
That's going to be a lot of goblins to deal with.
Who will attack and summon a goblin and deal 5 damage directly to you.
It's pretty strong. Pretty strong. We're going to have to deal with him, otherwise he's going to keep summoning goblins. Well, it's time for the hero power. Reverence, which means every time I play a creature, I draw a card. Ah, very nice. Play this as well. Well, we didn't get a creature, but we have this. We're going to use Champion's Honor and power up the Treant. And because of the Cavalry Field Captain, the Vanguard is now 3 speed, so we're just going to go ahead and eliminate Ramgag before he creates any more goblins. And we're looking to be pretty solid. We managed to get cards back, get creatures on the board. We should be fine. I think we'll be fine.
I summon a Goblin Warrior. And I'll equip my other Goblin Warrior with Boiling Blood. And attack you directly.
4-1. Wish I could block with the Treant, but I cannot. I'm just going to go ahead and block it anyways, because 4 damage is a bit much here. But it's a fair trade. With the Treant on the board, with his ability to slow down creatures when he attacks, we shouldn't have to worry about board control anymore. Oh, sure. Another Vanguard is always pretty nice. Use the hero power while we can. Make the Vanguard a little bit bigger. And when the train attacks, we can make the goblin 0 speed, which means it can't attack next turn. And we're going face for 8.
And there's nothing I can do about it.
That's right. And
Except ping you at the end of your turn with my Disciple of Zash.
oh no. That burns me so. And we're looking at a lethal here unless Boltor can come up with something.
I play my Massive Assault.
Buffs up all of his attackers, but doesn't have any at the moment.
And I will pass my turn.
He's left a lot of mana open, which means he probably has some kind of instance, possibly fireballs. Most likely fireballs. But he can only cast 1 because it costs 3 mana. So, in that case, we're going to go ahead and activate Landslide, which will send back up to 2 things. We'll get rid of the Goblin and the Disciple, because the Disciple could deal 1 damage as well. With both of those gone, he has no defenses. And because Fireball only does 3 damage, he can't kill any of these guys. And we just hit him in the face for lethal and close the game.
I defiantly fire a fireball at your face.
I knew you had a Fireball. See, with the Fireball and the Disciple, he would have been able to kill one of my guys while the Goblin stopped another. Alright. We got the game. Thanks for playing, Boltor. Always fun having you.
Always fun being here.